Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day. We bring all your latest updates, transfer news, speculation, rumours, club statements, ongoing events, live streams during the season, podcasts, and so much more. Remember, our next podcast is coming up on Wednesday evening with Adam Thornton from Heart and Hand. Well, guys, it is been an unbelievably busy summer so far for Rangers. 5 in through the door already, and the possibility of 3 more, according to the media this morning, or whenever you're picking this video up. So, according to the media this morning, there are 3 more signings at least on their way in, with Rangers pushing ahead with deals for 3 players, 2 strikers and 1 midfielder. We're going to talk about that in this video. So obviously the big news that came yesterday was the news about the on-off saga of the Cyril Dessers transfer to Rangers. We knew that it's kind of coming to an end because that man himself, Fabrizio Romano, the transfer guru, obviously from Sky Italy, he is the main guy. When he tweets about something, it's going to happen. That's the way it works. We know that now. He seems to have all the inside scoops. I'd love to know. I'd love to get a look at this man's address book and this man's contact list on his phone. I think it must be a very interesting one indeed. So let's have a quick look through. This is the tweet that he put out yesterday. Understand Rangers are closing in on a deal for Cyril Dessers. Agreement now imminent with Cremonese for Nigerian striker. Here we go soon. # Rangers. Clubs have agreed on a final fee and all documents are being drafted. So it looks like from this tweet that it is pretty much a done deal that Cyril Dessers will be signing number 6 in through the door at Rangers. Now, I'm hearing the fee is around £4.5 million, not dollars, £4.5 million for the Nigerian striker. Cremonese paid £6.5 million last summer to sign Dessers from Genk in Belgium, and reportedly want to recoup as much of that as possible. They're unable to obviously recoup the full £6.5 million due to the fact that they've obviously been relegated to Serie B and are anxious to get Dessers' wages off their books and obviously to regain some more money for the striker. The fantastically named Cremonese sporting director Simone Jacket, what a name, it's not very Italian last name, is it, indicated yesterday that there was movement on the talks. He said there is negotiation with Rangers underway, but at the moment everything is still because we are waiting for them to formulate the final proposal. So, but according to Romano and obviously according to representatives of Dessers, this is pretty much there now. The rumours that I'm hearing, what I'm reading this morning and what I was reading last night, is that Dessers will complete his move next week to Rangers and obviously be linking up with the squad for the pre-season tour of Germany, the training camp in Germany, which takes place very soon. That's what I'm reading. Hopefully that's true, but I think, we've got to obviously give Dessers his opportunity. I'm very much in the jury's out on this signing camp area. It's 28 years old. 4.5 million is a lot to pay for a player that you will have no sell-on value for. So we've got to sort of couch this in the terms that 4.5 million is money we're not going to see back at the end of the day. The wages that we pay out to the guy as well, again, we're not going to see back. He's not a player that's going to come in and be able for us to sell on for any great profit. The trading model, which is what we're using now, is the way forward that the club have talked about. And so, the negotiations with Danilo, and I'll talk about Danilo shortly. He is 24. He has sell-on value. Josh Maggio would have had sell-on value. Freegan, the Croatia, would have had sell-on value. These are all young players who are coming through, who again, a couple of seasons at scoring 25, 30 goals. They double, triple their value. You can sell them down south for 20, 25 million, not a problem. But Dessers is certainly someone I think is more a kind of, a win now signing, someone that they want to come in and score goals at this point for the club. Cyril Dessers, in terms of who he is and what he brings to Rangers, if we look at his career overall, He's someone who's had 8 clubs in 10 years, which is, an awful lot of clubs in that 10-year period. He has played in his time for Leuven, Lokeren, Breda, Utrecht, Heracles, Genk, Feyenoord, and now Cremonese, so a lot of the smaller clubs around Europe. In terms of his career totals, he had played 277 games, scoring 111 goals in 277 games. In his most recent stops off in Cremonese and with Feyenoord, he made 29 appearances for Cremonese and scoring only 7 goals in that time. At Feyenoord, he was slightly more successful with 20 goals in 41 appearances, although 10 of those goals did come in the Europa Conference League, which is a competition that has its merits, but also isn't a major European competition. Before that, with Genk, he scored 11 in 43. At Utrecht, he scored 19 in 56. With Lokeren, he scored 7 in 40. So he's not exactly a prolific striker or prolific scorer of goals, as the stats will tell you there. He's big, a strong guy. He's not quick. He's very much more in sort of the Morelos type mould. He's not the same sort of player as Alfie, but he is very much in that mould in terms of the type of player that he is. So it looks like he will be signing number 6 through the door. Like I said, I'll get behind him once he pulls on that Rangers top. But in terms of what he will bring to the team and how he will contribute, I'll say he's a jury's out kind of signing. Now, apparently negotiations are still ongoing for this man, Danilo. Danilo is still wanted by Rangers. The clubs are still talking through this deal, trying to get to a deal. Although I did read worrying rumours yesterday that obviously with Feyenoord in no position to sell, no need to sell the player, they may overinflate the price. Now, Feyenoord have already sold a number of their championship winning team this summer. There is felt to be no real need for a massive reconstruct there, so Arne Slot is not under any pressure to sell Danilo, which may force up the price a little bit. So it will remain to be seen if Danilo is a player that Rangers can actually get over the line. I think the problem you've got there is not that we perhaps don't have the money, that you can face a situation where you are being asked for a stupid amount for the player that he is not worth. I think anything north of 7 million would be far too much to pay for the player. This is, we all have, and look, I understand and I accept that clubs have their valuations on players. Of course they do. We are the same. If someone came in and tried to buy, Nicholas Raskin or Todd Cantwell, you'd be asking for north of 20 million for both of those players, in my opinion. So it's definitely a situation where, the negotiations are ongoing, but it is thought that Rangers are still negotiating with Feyenoord and do want to get this Danilo deal over the line. So it's not, obviously, like I said on the video yesterday, a case of Danilo or Dessers. It is Danilo and Dessers that they want at the club as they look to strengthen the forward line. This is something that Rangers desperately need to do. One of the biggest criticisms that that the fans and Michael Beale himself had of the team last year was that we were just not clinical. We didn't put the ball in the back of the net on a frequent enough basis, and this is something the club need to really address, because it's not only just beating obviously that lot from across the city to the title next season. It's also about getting that goal difference up. We saw with Celtic how their goal difference was like an extra point in a way, and goal difference can become like an extra point. So it's absolutely vital that we get strikers in who are going to hit the net on a regular basis, score 25 to 30 goals a season and put the team in a position where they have a very superior goal difference. I think the defence is pretty sorted, with Jack Butland at the back, hopefully with Connor Goldson returning from injury. I know some fans don't like Connor Goldson, but what Connor brings to the team in terms of his experience, his communication, you've only got to look at the fact that when he's been out, Rangers have struggled to keep clean sheets. The players that have looked good, like Davis, for instance, like Leon King, have struggled without Connor Goldson being there. So I think the defence obviously is sorted. It's just a case now of getting the forward line sorted. The midfield looks pretty decent, and I think we'll only get stronger with the arrival of that other player that I was speaking about in a moment. It is thought as well that the Jose Cifuentes deal will get done this coming week as well. I mean, it could be a very busy week on arrivals next week with the prospect of Cyril Dessers, Danilo and Jose Cifuentes all coming through the door to make it signings 6, 7 and 8. That is what the media are reporting this morning. Multiple media sources are reporting this. So it is really much, I think, a case of Rangers do want to strengthen the forward line and do want to strengthen the midfield and have identified the targets. Now, obviously, with all these incoming players, there is a question of who Rangers are perhaps going to move out. Rangers have a massive number of forward-thinking players. You've got, you look at it now, and Rangers, we've got Colak there, we've got Kemar Roof there. You can even perhaps, I know they're not out and out strikers, but they're still forward thinking players with the likes of Matondo and Sakala. These are all big forward thinking players. So I think Rangers are going to look to move out somebody from that forward area. Now, the media are reporting, and again, I think this is something that's been ongoing all summer, is Antonio Colak and his links to the Bundesliga. That is what is really, I think, out there at this moment in time. I think the likelihood is that Colak will be moved on in this window once Rangers can secure a decent price for the player. With the bringing of Dessers, the bringing in hopefully of Danilo, with obviously the Sam Lammers deal, Kemar Roof will be at the club still. You've got 4 strikers there. Realistically, the 5, 6 strikers are not going to be needed at the club. So 4 strikers is the usual number that most teams go into a season with. So, and also given the fact that Michael Beale, I don't think plays without out and out 9. I know some Rangers fans were questioning my wisdom on this the other day, but if you look at the system that Beale employs towards the end of last season, he was playing very much this split wide striker role, again something that he was employing at Queen's Park Rangers. He doesn't really play with an out and out number 9 target man. Colak is not a guy who's going to play out wide. He's not going to be a split striker. He's a through the middle target man. He's a number 9. He's an out and out target man. He's someone who, yes, if you supply him, he will score goals. And I get that. I would personally keep him because you need a plan B. You need someone who can come in and be that plan B when that plan A is not working. And I think he's someone who will score 20, 25 goals a season. I think he is definitely, if you look at the players that we're bringing in, he's the one proven goal scorer that we do actually have at this level. He scored 18 goals last season across all competitions in Scotland in an injury-plagued season. And I know the injuries are something that go against him. One of the things that we are looking at, I think, is the fact that he is not a Beale player. He was brought in by Gio van Bronckhorst. He's not a Beale signing. And looking at the system, as much as I rate Colak, and as much as I know a lot of Rangers fans rate Colak, I don't think Michael Beale sees him as a fit for his system, and that is part of the issue with it. And this is always going to happen. You change managers. Managers have their own players. They have different systems. They bring in players to suit their system, and that's what happens when you change manager as regularly as we have recently. So I do think that Colak will be the one player who will be on his way out over this coming season. That seems to be that one player that goes out. I think it's not just him that will be on the way out. I think there's Kamara also may leave. There's still talks over Borna. There will be players traded out, and that will be done over the coming weeks, I understand, from what I have seen, read and heard. But certainly interesting times and a very busy. This off-season is exceptionally busy. I don't think we'll see an off-season look quite like this again for some time, with so many players coming in and probably so many players going out. I see only the one at the moment, the Mateusz Zakowski deal. He's gone, but to Slaskroklo. But I think there will be more on the way out over the coming weeks at the club. The signings, obviously, of Dessers, and I think if they get Danilo over, I think that pretty much puts an end to the Josh Maja and the Benny Traore deals. Unfortunately, I did want to see Maja. I think Maja is a quality player and a lot better than both Dessers and Danilo. Haven't actually seen Maja play live. Actually, haven't seen the guy. He's got great movement. He's good on both feet. He's quick. He knows where the goal is. He's a quality player, a really quality kid. He's a young lad as well, who I think could have been worth a substantial amount of money in a couple of years' time. But I do think now, with the likelihood that we do bring in Dessers next week, and probably, hopefully, Danilo as well, that could kill stone dead any deal for Josh Maja, which is for me is an absolute shame, a real shame. I would much rather have seen Josh Madger come in than Cyril Dessers for definite. But you know what? We've got to trust Beale. We've got to trust what he's doing. We've got to trust, the way he's constructing this team. And I guess only time will tell how effective this rebuild has been. Obviously once we got underway at the start of the season, when we played Kilmarnock on the first day of the season, and then obviously the follow-up games against Livy, Ross County, and the big test obviously coming on in September against that lot from across the city. So at the end of the day, this is it. This is where we're at. This is where the latest news is. Thank you so much again for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Unlike virtually every channel on YouTube, we do reply to all your comments and interact with you. This is a fan-driven channel. It's done by the fans for you, the fan. And yeah, we may have our disagreements, but that's what football is all about. It is a game of opinions. Thank you for watching, and I need you to do two things for me again. Number one, smash that like, and number two, remember, we are the people.